Chad Hartman with you from WCCO, and it's a distinct pleasure to be joined by Toby and Ron Gardenhire. And you see the shirts that the Gardiers are wearing, the shirt I have behind me. This is brought to you by the great folks with Grey Duck. Great to see you guys, and I'm a little confused myself with the father and son team in the same business, why they picked me, why they would pick me as someone who may have jumped into the same business, but I'm looking forward to this conversation. I will tell everybody watching and listening that I first met these two gentlemen in the spring of 1989. I am a 23-year-old kid. I am broadcasting the Orlando Twins, and I'm in kind office, and this guy comes in and acts like he's really mad at me. And I couldn't tell if he was being serious. And then he started smiling. Well, that's Ron Gardenhire. He was the manager of the Minnesota Twins. And then this sweet, blonde-haired 6-year-old boy came in, and that was Toby. And among my favorite memories is you two playing catch, normally about 2, 3 in the afternoon, probably before the annual rain shower, Ron, at about 4 o'clock. But those are great memories for me. When you think about you and Toby together with baseball, what are the thoughts that come to mind?
Well, pretty much the one time we were on a road trip, I think, in Jacksonville, somewhere like AA, and I threw a ball and hit him right in the forehead. and I told him, listen, if you got to tell your mother that you ran into a door screwing around in the clubhouse. If I hit you with a ball, you'll never get to come again. And what did he do? He went right up to her and says, I ran into a door. I was like, yes.
That's my boy. Toby, do you distinctly remember that story?
I do. And I remember thinking when when he told me that, I said, I have to tell Mom that I ran into a door, because if I can't come to the ballpark anymore, I'm going to be really sad. So I asked, and I said, nope, I ran right into her. And she said, how did you do that? And I said, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, you guys are such a great fit. Obviously, Ron, 13 years as Twins manager, soon to be, it's just a matter of when, in the Twins Hall of Fame, 3 years with the Tigers, finished with 1,200 wins as a manager, one-time American League Manager of the Year. I was reminded again, I looked it up, 5 times runner-up. Toby has moved up the Twins system as a player for a while, now multiple years as a manager, and now Toby is going to be the St. Paul Saints AAA manager as the Twins and Saints have come together. Toby, what are your thoughts on this opportunity? It's great for you to be managing this high up in the system. All of a sudden, St. Paul, the Saints have had such a great history and now a part of the Twins system.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, obviously with the Twins being in Minnesota and having St. Paul right there, it's a huge, I think it's going to be really cool to be able to send guys right across the street from St. Paul over to Minneapolis when we call them up. And plus the Saints have such an awesome history, and the games are so much fun to go to, and the fans just love it there. So our players are really lucky to be able to get a chance to play in St. Paul. It's a pretty cool setup there.
Ron, you've been so busy for so long in the game itself. Have you had a chance ever to attend a Saints game?
Oh, I have. Yeah, I went and we had good seats right on one of the railings behind home plate, and it took me about 2 innings before I was all the way down the right field line, because I had one of the girls, the kids having fun, and right in front of me, she went, sports! And I went, uh-oh, I got to get out of here. So I took it so I could watch the game, but it was fun. And I actually knew some of the players that were playing. It's a great atmosphere. They have a lot of fun. I look forward to that. I'll actually go to some of those ball games just to check them out.
Well, I know we have a number of questions here. Some of the folks are with us. It's Zoom, so sometimes it might work, sometimes it might not. But let's try first. Is Brian Steinwagner from Hudson there? Brian, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, guys, how you doing? Toby, good to see you. Ron, good to see you again.
Brian, what's happening? How are you?
We're doing great, Toby. Doing great. First question is, Ron, are you actually going to charge Toby for rent this year? I know you haven't in the past, and it's really got under your crawl. So are you charging him?
What do you mean? He's got 2 places on me, I think.
I know.
Get rent in both places.
So the other thing is, you got to tell the minor league story about the Red Sox and Toby getting the pinch hit and the take your kid to work story.
Take your kid to work. Yeah, so I was playing. It was actually, thanks Brian, it was we were in Port Charlotte, and we were playing the Tampa Bay Rays, and I was in big league camp, so I was feeling pretty cool about myself, and I get sent up to pinch hit, and they announced my name, and some guy in the stands down the left field line, he yells, "Hey, what is this, bring your kid to work day?" And everybody started laughing, and I stepped out of the box because the catcher started laughing. So the catcher's like laughing at me, and then the guy said, "Is this an early Christmas present?" And I was just like done. And then the umpire was laughing. So try to go up there in a Major League Baseball game and get a hit when the umpire and the catcher are already laughing at you. So that's good luck.
That's great. Hey, Brian, really good question. Thanks so much for reaching out. Fantastic. Let's go to another one. Let's see if Mark Jensen of Minneapolis there. Mark, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here, and thanks for doing this. Great to hear and to see father and son coaching. But I was wondering, Toby, do you think this year at the Saints games, when your dad's attending, you'll be able to hear him yell from the stands?
There's a pretty good chance. When he gets yelling, he can get pretty loud. So I would imagine that if I mess something up out there, then we might all hear him.
Yeah, I'd like the opportunity to actually yell at him and say, "Get him out of there. Take him out, son." I've heard that enough in my career, believe me.
Yes. Mark, great question. Okay. I looked it up with the Twins. I think I have this right, Gardy. 73 ejections. Okay. 73 times. How is Toby's temperament, and what do you think the over-under is for him next year with the Saints?
First, I think you might have missed 10. I think it's 83.
Okay.
Times, so 83 times, but only like 30 of them were really my fault. It was the umpires. Toby Tom, I actually watched some ball games online of him the last couple of years. I actually saw him get thrown out of a game here in Fort Myers, arguing with one umpire, telling him he wanted to talk to another one, and I'm going, "That's a no-no." He took a walk in and he got pitched. And then he was walking down the left field line, and a little kid was reaching over the fence trying to give him 5. He blew right by him, but then he turned around and went back and gave that kid 5, and I said, "It'll be okay."
That's pretty good. Okay. Toby, how would you describe your temperament? And then the older you got, the more you watched your dad, and when he was getting particularly intense, what were you thinking?
So I think I'm a lot calmer than he is, but I think I get that from my mom's side of the family probably. So what's funny is watching him when he would get thrown out of games, because he's a pretty happy-go-lucky guy for the most part. He doesn't really get angry. So when during baseball games, when you watch him go out there and his face would get all red and start yelling at the umpires, it was kind of eye-opening. So I actually really enjoyed watching him go out there and get fired up.
I'll tell one more story going back to my days in Orlando. The broadcast, we would broadcast about 120 of the 144 games. Typical AA baseball, the contract with the radio station ended like the day before the season started. So all of a sudden we were on an FM rock station. And so they would decide we're not going to do all the games. So I did not have a permanent seat on the bus, because I didn't make all the trips. So I would find out from one of the people we all love, big fella, Wayne Hathaway, where I was sitting on this particular trip. And you guys both know this, Orlando to Memphis is 14 hours on a bus. 14 hours on a bus. And we're going right back to Orlando, and big fella had told me, "Well, you're sitting with the big man." I go, "Okay, does he know that?" Because you normally don't sit with the manager. I'm just hoping maybe Guthrie or Sorrento or those guys let me on. No, you're sitting with them. Well, guess what, Toby? He gets rung up. He gets rung up to end the game, and he is furious. And I am now thinking, where am I going to sit on the bus? He is absolutely furious. And big fella is just giving it to me. He's saying, "You're going to have to take a cab home." He will not let you on the bus. And so I'm standing outside, shrinking into the ground, and your dad comes by and says, I can't say everything your dad said. Get the bleepity bleep on the bus and grab me a beer or two. We're going to have some fun. And we just talked and laughed, and it was your dad being your dad, right? Because he still was mad, but he was the great guy that he is.
Yeah, and that's a pretty common thing, I think. Go home and have a beer or two after you get thrown out of the game. So usually that's something that happens. So.
Or 10.
All right, how about another question here? Mary Wadlow. Mary, are you there?
I am.
Fantastic. Go ahead, Mary.
Now I don't remember what I typed in. I think it was asking Toby what his favorite memory was as a kid growing up around baseball. I mean, there was quite a few characters I've heard about over the years, and what was it like as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty amazing, really. I mean, for a kid, I think, especially for a kid like me who just loved baseball, being able to go in a big league clubhouse or a minor league clubhouse with all these guys who, you like idolize, was pretty cool. So I have a lot of memories. There was Willie Banks. I remember Willie Banks when my dad was managed. I believe it was in Kenosha. And I was like 5 or 6 years old, but Willie Banks would come get me and he would send me into my dad's office and tell me to say things to him. So I sat down at the desk and I looked at my dad and I said, Dad, why are you always flexing on Willie? And my dad said, what? And he said, why are you always flexing on Willie? And then the guys would be out in the clubhouse and they would just start laughing and like dying. And they thought it was the funniest thing in the world. So I was a lucky kid to be able to hang out with all those guys. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, Toby stole Tom Kelly's donut one time. That was probably the biggest thing that happened. Man, when I was coaching, TK on Sunday mornings always had his donut, and he had one big like cherry or strawberry filled donut that was his. Toby goes in one day with his Sunday. Kids got to take beef, and he stole TK's donut. Who do you think took the beef? Toby got pretty good, but I got worn out.
Yeah. I was going to say, third base coach fired over donut scandal.
Pretty close.
He walked into the breakfast room and he looks at the donuts, and I'm sitting over there eating the jelly donut. I got jelly donut all over my face. And TK looks at the donuts and he says, where's my donut? And I'm just like, what? And he says, because somebody said, that's the manager's donut when I went to get it. That's the manager's donut. So then I'm sitting there and he's, where's my donut? And he said, oh, okay, you like the jelly donuts too. Here, you can have your jelly donut. I'm going to make sure I get us 2 next time. So the next week, there was 2 jelly donuts in there. And I walked in and I was not going to touch that jelly donut. I was staying away from that thing as I could. But so I go and I give a different donut. Well, TK comes in and he says, Toby, did you get your jelly donut? And I said, no, I got this one. I'm okay. And he said, no. You're going to eat donut. Here, come over here, get your jelly donut. So he made me, we sat there and we ate our jelly donuts together. So that was TK. It was fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Even as a media member, if I would say something, and I might have said it the year before, Gardy, you know this, the guy's memory was so amazing. I'd be at the ballpark and I'd be like on the other side, hey, Chad, how about that? You okay? And I'd be like, that was April of last year. It's June. Uncle, but then the next time I'd see him, he'd just give me the wink to know, we were in on it. But I was also petrified half the time too, so that was a part of it. Remind you, if you're just listening, we're on Twins Fest, the virtual style because of COVID. This is brought to you by Grey Duck Spirits. We're so lucky to be joined by Ron and Toby Gardenhire. Ron, 13 years as the Twins manager. Toby, now the Saints manager of the Twins AAA club. We should also remind folks, all the money that you donate right now goes to the Twins Community Fund. And up until we're done at 3:00, the great folks from Target are going to match any money you donate up to $10,000. So again, the Twins Community Fund has done amazing things over the years. If you want to help out right now to help out the Twins Community Fund, Target will match up to $10,000. Let's get to Paul. I think Ostro's there. Paul, are you with us?
Hello. Yes, I am.
Fantastic. Go ahead, Paul.
Hello, there I am. Sorry, let me turn my light on here. Great to see both of you. My question would be for Toby, how other than not having the temper your dad has, how does your managing style differ from your father's?
I don't know if it necessarily differs that much. I grew up, like I said, I grew up around him and TK and all these guys in the clubhouse. So most of the baseball stuff that I've gotten, most of the baseball knowledge that I've gotten has come from these guys and watching them manage and just talking baseball a lot. So I really think as far as baseball goes, me and him have a pretty close perspective on everything and how we go about it. That's what I'd say.
I think the one thing, Toby's advantage is analytically, which we all know is a big part of baseball now, and Toby's well advanced. Running his own program at Stout University, the secretary that made up all the arrangements for the team. He had to do all that stuff. I've never went through that thing. I was in pro ball pretty much the whole time, and so he's advanced that way, and that's needed nowadays. You got to be able to do the computer, and you got to be able to get with these analytic guys and make sure they're explaining it to the players. So he's got that going for him, which is a big part of the game today.
Paul, that's a very good question. Thanks so much. Toby, it's different now when you're AAA. It's also different when you're 10 minutes from target field. Have you talked much with Rocco this offseason on how often you guys are going to talk, how that's going to play out? Because Ron knows this very well. When you're coaching lower level, you're probably not dealing with the manager that much, but when it's that close, and especially in what will be, we know at minimum, an atypical season, hopefully it starts on time, with COVID's going to be a factor, where the Twins are going to be very protective of arms, and it might be a pretty frequent shuttle back and forth between Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Yeah, I know Rocco pretty well. I've talked to Rocco quite a bit. I've got a chance to, being the AAA manager, one of the perks is you get to go to big league camp. So you get to spend a lot of time with the big league staff over there. So I know all those guys really well. And, Rocco's a great guy. He makes it really easy to communicate with him. He's one of these guys, he'll just call me out of the blue or shoot me a text every now and then just to see how things are going. He's just a really easy guy to talk to when it comes to all that stuff. So I think that, that's part of the advantage that we'll have is being so close, and communicating is a big part of being the AAA manager with the big league staff, because, they're going to want to know who's going to be able to come up there and help us, who's the best equipped to be able to come up there and help them out, win whatever baseball game they need to do. So yeah, I'm lucky because I got, Rocco's a really good guy and he makes it easy to communicate.
So here's a question from Robert Fisher. Robert's not with us, Ron. He asked, do you ever see a scenario where in some capacity you're helping out the Twins again? I mean, Torrey goes down there, Jim Cock goes down there, Rodney Carew goes down there. You were with the Tigers, you're with the Diamondbacks, but you're a Twin. Could you see that working out again?
Well, I think I'm doing it now. I'm handling my son. I got my son to go run the ball club. So that's about as much as you can give, right? Just give your kid. You know what? I've always loved this organization. I had a lot of fun going over to Detroit and getting back into it, going through a whole big reboot over there. I don't know what I'm going to do in my future right now. I just know I'm going to relax right now, get well, make sure I'm good and healthy, and then we'll see what happens. I don't know. I'll drive over there in my motorcycle right now and watch them play baseball. But that's about as far as I want to go right now. I'm ready to just chase my wife around the house and do all her honeydew little things, and I think I'll be okay doing that.
Okay, are you pretty good at that? I'm inept. I can't fix anything. Are you good at fixing things around the house?
I am really good at fixing things. I call Toby. I got my buddy John that owns this restaurant that's been in the air conditioning business, so I call him. I get my help and my backups and my bullpen, and I fix just about anything.
You are a man after my own heart. I got Clyde. I call Clyde when my hot water heater wouldn't work. I call Clyde. He goes, just turn it up one. I go, see, I never even would have thought of that. Okay, on a serious note, you share with us what you want to. You mentioned your health. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I caught a little food poisoning that last series we were playing the Twins. I'm still trying to figure out who got me, because he got me out of that series. It gave me food poisoning. But anyway, I got sick. Everybody kind of thought it was COVID, but it wasn't. I basically had a little salmonella in my stomach, or whatever you call it, and food poisoning, the easier term. But I was sick when I was in Minnesota. When I got home, I started thinking, it's time to take care of myself. You know, I wasn't feeling good, anxiety, stress, the whole package. And I said, it's time for me to take a step back and take care of myself and make sure I'm able to see my grandkids grow up. And that's kind of why I backed down.
Fantastic. It's good to hear. Okay, let's go to another, someone we think is with us through Zoom, Susan Smalling. Susan, are you with us?
I am. And somebody asked my question about sort of similarities and differences between your managing, but I heard a little of the pre-chatter. So now I'm just very curious, which of you is the better golfer?
Well, I won yesterday. So if that tells you anything, then that's pretty much it.
I bought him the clubs.
Are you guys fairly competitive on the golf course?
I would say we're competitive at every single thing that we do. So
good.
Yeah, on the golf course, in the swimming pool, it's anything that we do turns into a competition. So yeah.
Okay. In the swimming pool, what are you competing? I mean, are you laps or water?
I knew you were going there. I know.
Yeah.
He just threw you a hanging slider and you took it. I like it.
They have a little basketball hoop, and they have little rubber basketballs, and there's about 10 balls, and we have shooting contests to see. We go 3 rounds usually, and whoever makes the most in 3 rounds wins. And we have to shoot from the step, and we have a lot of rules to this thing. It's pretty important. So I feel like I win most of the time. He wins sometimes, and my mom, I don't know if she's ever won one time, but she tries.
Wow. Where's Carol? Carol might have to come on to that cheap shot right there. I mean,
she's over there laughing, crying.
Yeah.
Uncalled for. Susan, they'll have to send us a video of that. They'll have to put that on Instagram or something, right? These guys competing. Thanks. Great question. Judy Ring. Judy, are you with us? Judy might not be with us. She had to say, what was your favorite and what one thing about your dad's career? What was your favorite thing? And what's one thing that you will do maybe a little bit different than your dad?
So what was my favorite thing about his career, you say?
Yep.
He spent such a long time in Minnesota. I really think it's hard. Baseball's a hard game, and when you're in one place as long as you are, you really get to know a lot of people. And that's one thing that I feel really lucky with, is that I'm a part of the Twins organization. I know so many people up and down the organization. It's just because I grew up with it, and that's a really cool deal. I have a different perspective on the way everything operates in the Twins, and because I've been around it so long. So I feel really lucky that I've got a chance to do that. As far as anything different that I would do, I don't really know. If you spend 30 whatever years in the game, then you did a pretty good job. So I would say that I don't know too many things that I would change or try to do.
Pretty good.
He's done pretty well for himself.
Last question. Molly Steinke. Molly, are you there? All right. Molly wants to know how often, Gardy, we alluded to this a little bit, but how often do you think you'll head over to those Saints games?
If he gives me tickets, I'll go. I don't want to have to buy them. You better buy them or leave me tickets. I'll go if he leaves me tickets, all right? But if I got to pay my way in to see him manage, come on, watch him on TV.
I just want to make sure you get a really good seat.
Well, go Sports. That's what I'm looking for.
Thank you, Molly. That's a great question.
That's a good one.
Again, this all benefits the Twins Community Fund, right? And we got some good stuff coming up. Dan Gladden. Okay, Gardy, when you think of Dan Gladden, what comes to mind?
Oh my, this is a PG. I can't even go there. It's PG. We can't go there with Bookham.
Dan Gladden's coming up next. He'll have Josh Donaldson on. Gentlemen, I wish you all the best. Love the conversation. Ron, great to see you. My best to Carol and Toby. I'm sure we'll be seeing you all this year. Thanks so much.
Stay safe.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.